Hi there everyone, Mark Lawrenson here from Sydney Astrology School, and thank you very much for joining me as we enter into episode number 8 in our Sex and Intimacy series. And in this episode, we're going to be looking at the sign of Pisces and the planet Neptune. Now, before I start, I just got to underscore that this is not so much for people with the sun or the moon in Pisces or lots of planets in Pisces. What I'm more concerned with is people who've got the sign of Pisces on the 5th house cusp or the 8th house cusp, or people who have Neptune in those particular houses as well. You might notice this a little bit with people who've got Venus in Pisces and Mars in Pisces too. They might get the effect of this as well. So when we're looking at Neptune in those houses, or the Piscean energy in the 5th or the 8th house, what we're understanding is that these people are actually looking for their nirvana there. Now, this could be really beautiful in a way because, there's a feeling of this kind of spiritual connection or this spiritual oneness between people, and getting close to people and being intimate with people could actually be quite a wonderful, ethereal kind of experience. But unfortunately, we're human, and that's kind of what we're trying to get to. That's what we're aspiring to. But a lot of us are going to have to go through stuff before we get there. Now, Neptunian energy has no boundary. The Pisces is the sign of Neptune. And so there is a tendency to open the gates up far too wide here. Okay. And as I said, this can be really beautiful when everything comes in, in that feeling of some kind of spiritual connection or oneness with other people and getting close to them that way. But most of the time, it's going to get played out in a way where we're kind of beach without shark nets. We're kind of got this feeling of opening ourselves up, and then whatever comes in, comes in. Now, most of you probably heard, about the Neptunian rose-colored glasses thing, not seeing things clearly. Everything's a fantasy. Everything's got a Vaseline lens going on. And I want to say that this can play out. It can play out in a feeling of the nirvana that we're looking for in these particular houses come in with all the tinsel and all the glitter and a feeling of, oh, this is what I've always dreamed of. And then getting blindsided or sideswiped in a big way when the ice castle melts, so to speak. And so I want to say, if you've got Neptune in these houses or Pisces on the cusp of these houses, you're going to have to rely on your intuition more than anything else, because your intuition is always going to be your inner guide. You're very, very sensitive to that, and you're very in tune with that. And you need to be able to use it and use it wisely in these situations, because your intuition will be able to guide you into areas where you need to give your love. And it's also going to be a wonderful, wonderful warning signal, like a red light for things that aren't going to be good for you. So if you listen to your gut or you listen to your feelings, I want to say with Neptune in these particular houses, or Pisces on the cusp, I want to say you'll be guided well. You'll be guided really, really well. So you need to remember that. People with Neptune in these houses, or Pisces on the cusp of these houses, I want to say maybe they give too much. They give of themselves too much. Again, there's this feeling of wanting to rescue. A lot of people are going into these houses needing love. I need to have love. And what I will do for that, I will just allow people too much. I will give too much of myself to the point of losing myself, to the point of losing who I am in connection with somebody else. And sex could actually come into this too. A little bit like I need love so badly, or I need connection so badly that I'll go into a sexual episode of sorts to receive it or to get it. I'm not saying this is a bad thing, but you've also got to be looking at the reasons or the intentions around why you're in a situation like this. This is really important. Self-sacrifice, putting yourself last, that's another thing that comes in quite a lot with this energy in these houses too. Again, it's a spin-off from a loss of your own identity or a loss of what you want in this particular area as well. The fifth house, is the house of play, falling in love, sex, joy, but it's a very addictive house at the same time. It really is. It's that feeling of going for the buzz, looking for something that's going to give you this feeling of aliveness and life. And Neptune doesn't have the boundary, and so therefore I want to say this can become quite an addictive area for people who've got Neptune in these houses or Pisces on the cusp of these houses, particularly the fifth house. It can actually become quite addictive, and going into relationships or deep relationships with people, or getting sexually involved or getting romantically involved, can have this feeling of never being satisfied. It could have this feeling of wanting more and more and more. And so, again, there has to be a feeling of putting the stops or putting a curb on this appetite, because it's one of those kind of mouse on a wheel kind of things. There's no end to it. And so I want to say, for people who are in a situation where they might find themselves like that, they're going to have to find a way, because there is no end to it. There is no end to or finalization or conclusion going on here. So they're going to have to find ways, possibly creative ways, or other ways to find joy and fun and connection in their life, where they can redirect this energy into something that they can give, and something that they can give in a way of lighting themselves up and lighting other people up, where it doesn't come from that place of need. I think anything that comes from this place of need, particularly with the Neptune area, it always feels dissatisfying. It always feels frustrating. It always feels like that's not really it. It's just like an itch you can't scratch. And so therefore, the Neptunian or the Piscean energy in these particular houses are going to have to find ways of being able to give this beautiful energy, in a way that's going to be satisfying for them, and also a way that's going to be satisfying for other people, who are going to be receiving it from them, which of course is going to make the giver twice as happy, because Neptune only knows the oneness of all things. So whatever they give out to other people and what is received well is automatically going to sit into their lives beautifully at the same time. So that's something that you have to remember, if you've got Neptune in these particular houses. Now, the wonderful, wonderful part about Neptune in the 8th house or in the 5th house is that you have this amazing ability to come into sacred space with somebody else. You have this amazing ability to meet soul to soul. Now, you can actually use it in a very transcendent kind of way. You can use it as being a person who does bring some kind of heart or sensitivity or spiritual connectedness into another person's life, and being able to access the spirit in them, access the soul in them, and get them to understand themselves on that level. You have the ability to be able to do that beautifully. But you also have the ability to be able to go one step higher or transcend the understanding of sex and intimacy in a human way. You can actually go into areas where sex and intimacy now become holy, can now be a place where two spirits merge in a way where it's not about what I want from you and what you want from me anymore. It doesn't have that feeling of, oh, I'm scared of what's going to happen here, and I'm scared of who's going to control me, and I'm scared of who's going to take whatever they can from me. It's way, way beyond that. It's gone into another place. It's gone into a place now where the connection between the both of you is so real and so true and so heart-centered that you now can actually come into a place with somebody else where the merging of two souls and who you are on that level, it now becomes a place for you to be able, to me, it's almost like a place of meditation, or a feeling of being able to come into your connectedness with the universe, or your connectedness with God, if you want to use that term. Your connectedness with Source happens as you come into connection with somebody else deeply and sexually. So that's kind of it's kind of dramatic in a way, isn't it, when I say it like that? But I just want to say that, even if you get tinges of that, even if you go around the fringe of that, even if you feel it at some times or not at other times, I think that's enough. I honestly believe that if you can actually play around in that area and get the feeling of what that area kind of wants in a way, and you actually start to go into that area in a way where it actually goes, oh, this is not a feel this is not a feeling that I've ever felt before. This is so different. You've also got to remember that it is your chart, and this is what you have to learn. So don't expect too much from somebody else. Don't expect somebody else to come to the party with you. If they do, that's beautiful. But don't expect them to, because it's up to you to be able to come into this connection with yourself. And you bring it to the table. You bring it to your relationships. You bring it to your sexual encounters. You bring it to your connections with everybody else. And so if you can do that, if you can find a way of being able to meet somebody soul to soul and truly understand that's who we are, that's basically the essential selves, that's who we are, and we're here on the earth plane in these bodies doing our best, trying our best. And if we can bring an element of our essential selves into our deeper intimate connections, I truly believe that every encounter you have with somebody on that level will take you to another tier of your spiritual advancement and spiritual development.